Breaking out the beanie for the rainy winter weather here in Portland, and this one feels interesting to be on Halloween. I read Shadowbahn by Steve Erickson in 2021. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. Sometimes I feel like I'm supposed to get something from a book that's more than the words on the page. But the inferred concepts are too abstractly assembled to piece together a coherent story for me. It makes me feel like I'm reading something for a class rather than for enjoyment, in that it feels like there's some right way of assembling these ideas, but I can't seem to figure out how to get it there. While I concede that's not necessarily accurate and that any interpretation of fiction can be valid to some extent, that embarrassed ignorance is how I felt reading this book. It was compounded by the fact that the concepts and referential events were regarding things I cared deeply about, like creative connections between songs of popular music and trauma of events that I also lived through, like 9/11. I kept searching for a way to fit my own experience and interest into the abstract box that Erickson created, and it didn't work for me, no matter how desperately I worked to try. And there's a different way to view this sort of thing, that connecting and building a strong interpretation isn't important in your experience of a book like this. That your experience in and of itself is a way to gauge your appreciation for the art. Unfortunately for me, it put me in a struggling student mindset, wondering why I don't understand Faulkner as clearly as the professor wanted me to understand it. This book's concept is super interesting. And when I describe the fictional conceit of the towers reappearing and the alternate realities discussed, people always perk up and want to explore it, just as I had. The important thing to know before attempting this is that there isn't a defined narrative through line that I could find. If you're comfortable appreciating the beauty and creativity of the ideas without that, then this will be right up your alley. It feels like an assembly of contemporary symbols loosely arranged to prompt an emotional response. This book is modern art. I can appreciate it as something that is creative, but I just don't get it. In that way, it feels like a hearkening to the depth and intensity of something powerful like House of Leaves, but it never quite paid off for me as well as that. And so I found myself wanting to just move to the next gallery exhibit. I don't remember a whole lot about this book, and it probably has a lot to do with all the things I'm talking about in the review here. I remember having it on flights, on airplane journeys, and being confused. And I kept pulling for it because I love referencing of the old songs and trying to connect Elvis and other things to the extreme situations and extreme trauma and things that everybody was feeling as a part of the 9/11 experience. This is going to go in my experiences of 9/11 in fiction playlist, but I couldn't get there. And I feel like because of time, as this book goes forward, that I think it's going to be harder for people to get. I do think it is modern art. And I think if you like that sort of abstract collage, maybe that's a way to describe it. It's a collage of feelings. It's a collage of confusion based on trauma. Gosh, I don't know. Again, you can hear me trying to pull for it. It's a very interesting book. If you like Steve Erickson, you might just like this kind of book. I am not adding any others to my list, though. It was generally difficult, generally work for me, and I felt sheepish about the fact that I didn't get it because I really wanted to. So if there is processing or interest that you have about outlandish, artful ideas, the feelings and the world that exists after 9/11, Shadowbahn might be the right thing for you. I read Shadowbahn over the course of a few months in 2021. I gave it 2 out of 5 stars on Goodreads.